It's time for the One Bar and Lupica Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupica Show. I am One Bar, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about, did the Vikings running back crew get better in 2020 than they were in 2019? Did they get worse, or did they stay the same? You might be thinking to yourself, well, we're bringing back the exact same running back crew. How could it have changed at all? But guess what? It did. So stick around. Before we get into it, subscribe to the One Bar and Lupica Show. Like the videos. We're bringing you purple goodness every damn day. All right, so let's just look at this. Our running back backfield is very young. You know, we've had some familiar faces around the last couple of years, but believe it or not, they're still very, very young. Dalvin Cook, 24. Michael Boone is 24. Alexander Mattison, 21. And CJ Ham is the old man out of the group at 26. Actually, Amir Abdullah is the old man out of the group. But, you know, he was just re-signed, special teamer. We'll talk about him. So the big question, did they get better? Did they get worse? They stay the same. So the way I see it, even though we're bringing back the exact same guys, yes, we have some undrafted guys. We got Jake Vargas at fullback, and we have Tony Brooks James, who is a undrafted free agent from last year. But let's be real, they're going to keep the same guys they had last year, even to the point where I think they keep Abdullah again, very good special teamer. But here's why I think they got better. Yes, spoiler alert, they got better. Usually I save it for the end. Dalvin Cook, contract year. Whether or not they get something done before the season, if they don't, he is going to be extra hungry to be making some big bucks. I can't even imagine this guy in a contract year. He balls out regardless. But the thought of whether it's with the Vikings or another team, this is going to be his ginormous contract. And hopefully it's the Vikings giving it to him. But if they don't get something done, I could see him going on a tear. Alexander Mattison, kind of on the same point. Dalvin Cook's in a contract year. Alexander Mattison, they're going to be giving him the rock quite a bit to see what he can do. Mattison will be just as motivated to possibly show that maybe he can carry the load as that number one running back. So those two play huge into this season as far as what happens. But I think they're both going to be improved. It's kind of crazy to think that Dalvin Cook could even be better. But like I said, he's 24. He is going to get better. He is our offense. So same with Mattison. Mattison, when we took him last year in round 3, a lot of people shit themselves because they didn't think it was going to happen, myself included. And he proved a lot of people wrong, and he proved to be worth that pick. So I think we got something special there. And Mattison gets those tough yards. And then with Boone and Abdullah, you know, I already mentioned it. Boone, he's never really had his chance, and with these guys in front of him, he probably won't. But something happens. We know he can get stuff done. Amir Abdullah, he will be on the fringe of making the team. We'll have to see what some of these other guys do on special teams. But he is our special teams guy who really showed up last year. And CJ Ham just re-signed him this year. So he's definitely going to be there. We know we're going to get from him. We know we're going to get a ton of, 3rd and 8s, 1-yard passes to him, which seems to be our thing. But CJ Ham will perform. But overall, this is a quick and easy one for me. I think we definitely got better. And one thing I didn't even mention, Gary Kubiak. He is our offensive coordinator this year. Yes, he probably had a lot of say last year, but Gary Kubiak, we've seen what he did in Denver. We see what he did in Houston, Baltimore. He could take Oli Udoh and turn him into a 1,000-yard rusher. So to get his hands on a guy like Dalvin Cook, I mean, think back to what he did in Denver with Mike Anderson. Who are some of those other guys? I mean, late round guys he just made flourish. Gary Kubiak will turn this already very, very solid run game even better. It's going to be scary, and the best part about that is it's going to open up a ton of stuff in the passing game. So even though this roster depth chart stayed the same for the Vikings at running back, absolutely better. Mark it down, and you know what? Let's really hope that Dalvin Cook gets that contract before the season starts.